Hey guys, we have a great matchup here in round 6. On the left we have Anthony Eason, who has actually top 4 U.S. Nationals before, like in 2009, and he is quite an accomplished Magic the Gathering player as well. He's done very well at some major events in both card games, so someone who understands how to play card games extremely well. He is a long-time player, and I'm excited to get to feature him here in this matchup. Now, his opponent is Kyle Lesniewicz, who is a great player in his own right, so this should be a good matchup, assuming they both draw some good hands here. It looks like a Darkrai versus Eelektrik thing matchup, yeah. Anthony, it looks like he's playing Rayquaza Eelektrik. He's got a fire in his hand, so I will assume that. And, the video just bugged out a little bit, but that's okay. Kyle will be using a Darkrai, looks like Terrakion as well. I think I've seen that in his deck. Yep, there's a fighting. So this will be a Darkrai Terrakion deck. Should be a close matchup. Now, unfortunately, Anthony had to start with that Raikou EX, which means if this game extends by any means, it's going to be a disadvantage Anthony for having that 170 hit point fighting weak EX on his board. It's just not what you want to have happen. And looks like Kyle has an extremely good start anyway. He's going to be able to Junk Hunt here for a Dark Patch and an Ultra Ball. And next turn he should be able to Energy Search. And he'll get a turn 2 Night Spear if Anthony doesn't disrupt him with an N. It's a very, very good start from Kyle. Who, I mean, a turn 2 Night Spear is incredible. This start right here is the most powerful thing in the game. The Sableye active with 1 energy. The Darkrai benched with 1 energy. Turn 1. You got to use that Dark Patch. It is just so strong to get that out so quickly. Will Anthony have anything? Ooh, he's benching a Rayquaza EX right away with a fire. It's usually not a good sign. He's going to play an Ultra Ball and get rid of a catcher and a Rayquaza. I might have preferred using that catcher there to force Kyle to have an energy switch. You saw him get a Dark Patch and an Ultra Ball. That signals that, alright, he's going to discard a Dark, probably. And go for another Dark Patch and turn 2 Night Spear me. That's not a good situation to be in. But it looks like he's holding on to an Eelektrik, so it's probably a more important card to have in this matchup. And you're just an energy switch away from being able to Night Spear anyway. So, not that big of a deal. But this is going to be, it's going to be Frown Town for Anthony pretty soon if Kyle gets a turn 2 Night Spear. This is really almost impossible to deal with if you're playing the Eelektrik deck. A turn 2 Night Spear with the Darkrai deck going first has to be the toughest thing to deal with in this entire format. I mean, the last format we saw turn 1 Night Spears, and those were just ridiculous. People rarely ever came back from that. Turn 2 Night Spears were actually just as powerful. You could come back from those a little bit better because there were cards like Junk Arm and stuff in the format that, could help you out. But in this format, I don't see it happening. And Kyle just has such a strong start. I don't think he could really pick his hand much better than what he's got here. And Anthony just doesn't have much to work with. So he's got an energy search there. He's going to search for another Dark Energy. He'll be able to Ultra Ball. Discarding, let's see what he discards. 2 Dark. And that's going to let him Dark Patch. And he should just get a turn 2 Night Spear. And man, this might be a quick game, guys. I don't really expect Anthony to be able to do much from here. I've seen comebacks before. I'm just going to say this is really unlikely to happen, though. And that's kind of sad to think about. That just your opponent gets a turn 2 Night Spear and you can just be on the ropes that quickly. But that is the reality of the game. And Kyle's got a turn 2 Darkrai, Night Spearing. He's going to do 90 and 30. If he gets a catcher, he's going to catcher a Tynamo, get a knockout, do 30 to another Tynamo, and that's just going to be too much. That's too much to handle. You're going to lose too many Tynamos, too many Electrics. You're never going to be able to accelerate with Dynamotor. And when you can't do that, you can't even attack. Dragon Burst, you need to be able to refuel that every turn with Dynamotor because you have to discard your energy every turn. And it's just not going to go well. So Kyle did get a catcher. Now he's got two routes to go with this. He could just Night Spear the active Raikou, hit a Dynamo for 30, and then the next turn get a 3-prize turn by knocking out the Raikou, and then the Dynamo with the 30 damage from Night Spear, or he can just take the simpler route of catching a Dynamo, knocking out one, putting 30 on the other, and then next turn, you know, he's pretty much just going to finish off the rest of those Dynamos. So let's see which one he goes for. I usually just prefer the straightforward catcher route. Let's just take out a Dynamo right here. Limit my opponent's options. But we'll see what Kyle does. I actually don't mind either play here. Both are just as powerful. And he actually goes one further. He's going to catcher this Rayquaza and hit it for 90. That's another way to go about it. Because you know at some point Rayquaza is going to come up and hit you. This is just the attacker that Anthony has decided to use. And, you know, it's just, you're going to get it eventually. So, might as well get the jump on it. And this still sets up your 3-prize turn at some point. So Anthony's going to level ball for another Dynamo. Hopefully he's got an Eelektrik to at least evolve the Dynamo that has 30 on it. If he doesn't, yikes. There's the 3-prize turn coming. But even if he does evolve it, if he doesn't play Max Potion, alright, he's going to have to evolve, and then Kyle's going to target that for 30, and then at some point it's just going to get knocked out by another 30. But Anthony plays Max Potion. That is a very big card in this matchup. Now I'm surprised he didn't retreat first, but I guess he'll just go for a Celestial Roar this turn. I don't think he has a supporter. That might be what he's doing. This is really his best option at this point. Strange that he didn't grab an Eelektrik with the... Oh, he's got an energy off the Celestial Roar. If he would have gotten 2, that would have been huge, but just 1. Strange that he didn't get an Eelektrik with his level ball. I mean, you really want to evolve that Dynamo to avoid giving up that prize. Now, if Kyle wants to, he could catch out a Dynamo and get 2 at once. But at this point, you've kind of committed to your attacking Rayquaza strategy. So you definitely just want to attack the active, take out a Dynamo, and then next turn just Night Spear again, take out Rayquaza. And yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's just going to soften up the Rayquaza again, knock out a Dynamo. And does Anthony draw anything? Does not look like it. I don't even see a way to... I mean, he can catcher and Sableye knockout, but that doesn't really get him anything in terms of board position. It just kind of gives him hope that he gets a card out of his prizes, and then if he doesn't, he's done for. He's pretty much in a lose-lose situation. He's going to attach and Dragon Burst this turn, but if he hits the active for 100, doesn't really get him anywhere. He's not going to be able to really attack next turn. If he knocks out the Sableye with a catcher, he gets a prize. Then the Darkrai is fully loaded with no damage on it. Well, that's going to be so tough to deal with. I don't think there's a good play here. You really cannot pick the right thing to do. The end result is going to be the same. You on the losing end pretty much every time. You're going to have to top deck an end at some point and get lucky. It's really the only way out at this point. Or maybe get a lot of Thunder Wave heads to give yourself some time to set up where you can chain a bunch of Dragon Burst knockouts with Rayquaza. But the way things are now, it's just not looking good. He gets a Sky Arrow off his prize. Just not going to work. And now Kyle, he just... You know, he really doesn't have to do anything besides Night Spear to win this one. It's really the reality of the situation. Darkrai is that good against Eelektrik decks where you can just Night Spear for all 6 prizes without doing really anything. Just 90-30 every turn. That's the key to victory. And that's going to be the key to this one. He's going to take 2 prizes. He'll take the 2-prize lead. Anthony is left with a whole bunch of garbage on his board. Does he even have a Lightning to Thunder Wave here? I don't think so. So he's just pretty much out of this one. Now, let's see. He puts down a Sky Arrow and, he retreats to Raikou. I think this is a mistake. Your Dynamo is getting knocked out regardless. So you want the Dynamo to take the brunt of the attack, to take the 90, and then one of your bench Pokemon just takes 30, as opposed to Raikou taking 90 and then Dynamo getting knocked out. Because now, next turn, you just get Night Spirit and lose the game immediately. So a little bit of a mistake there from Anthony, but I don't think it actually matters. He's done for pretty much regardless of what happens. Kyle's going to play an Ultra Ball here to start to thin out some cards. Maybe grab a Sableye for some insurance. Maybe if Anthony nails an N and puts him in a weird spot at some point, he'll just have the Sableye out there to use Junk Hunt to recover some stuff so he can finish out the game. I do like that if he's going to bench it. I can also see him not benching it because he's giving up an easy prize. But we'll see. Like I said, this game's fairly finished at this point, and there's not much Anthony can really do about it. Kyle's just going to need to Night Spear over and over, and he should be able to take this one down. And yep, there's one more Night Spear. If Anthony cannot prevent his Raikou from getting knocked out, it's over. Oh, he's got a Lightning, so he could Thunder Fang here, and looks like that's what he's going for. Thunder Fang. If he gets Tails, he loses. Alright, he buys himself a turn. Okay. Will Anthony make the miraculous comeback? One Thunder Fang at a time. 17 turns later, maybe he can knock that thing out. And maybe he can Max Potion or something. The possibilities are there. Alright, so Kyle's just going to pass. And let's see. Ooh, Anthony gets a Max Potion, but he can't really do it this turn. He's got to wait for a turn where he can heal it off and still be able to paralyze. So I think he realizes that. It's just one of those things where you're like, oh man, that'd be cool if I could do that, but I gotta wait. So here's another Thunder Fang and Tails. That is going to be the game. So Kyle Lesniewicz will move on to 6-0. Anthony will drop a game there. It's unfortunate, but that's just how the game goes sometimes. But thanks for watching, guys. Got 2 or 3 more rounds to go. Sorry, I can't do math. But stay tuned. We'll have more videos up soon from Indiana Regionals.